What's going on, everyone? So I made a previous video diving into the news on Jarred Vanderbilt, how he's not expected to be ready for training camp as well as preseason. Regular season's kind of up in the air. It's not fun. It sucks, right? If you want to kind of hear all my deep dive thoughts, go check out that video after this video, of course. But what I want to talk about in this video is, if you're the Lakers, do you look to trade him? Now, couple things, because I know some people might say absolutely not, but let's kind of explore this for a moment, because I like Jarred Vanderbilt. Jarred Vanderbilt, in my opinion, is like the closest thing we have currently as like an untouchable, just because of what he does and how badly we need it when he's healthy. But the best ability is availability, and him opting out of surgery last season and now is still not fully healthy and ready to go when he was expected to be ready to go last playoffs, which makes sense now why Darvin Ham didn't actually play him. And then, you know, if this becomes a persistent foot issue, we've seen lots of players deal with foot issues. If you're the Lakers, do you just go, you know, let's let that be somebody else's problem? And, you know, because I'm sure there's a team that would take a flyer, especially some of these young teams or whatever, might just go like, hey, you know what, like, yeah, we'll take a chance on him because he's still young enough to where if he can kind of get right, we just got like a big pickup. You know, you add him in salary for a trade or something. It also kind of makes sense why the Lakers were shopping him this offseason, right? There was a lot of reports that came out about like the Lakers shopping Jarred Vanderbilt. We were all like, why are you shop? Like, why would you shop? Like, that's the one guy you can't shop. Like, yeah, I understand offensively he's an issue, but he's arguably, if not the best perimeter defender in the league, on-ball defender in the league, right? And he just covers so much ground. Like, that's the last guy the Lakers need to trade because they don't have anybody that replaces him, right? But now it's like, well, the Lakers probably knew he was all messed up. But here's the thing. Now with this report, right, out, it makes it even harder and less likely that a team is going to trade him. Two, you know, he's got to be able to pass a physical and get healthy and get right. It's just like there's all these issues. But if you can get Jarred Vanderbilt right, obviously you're probably not going to be able to trade him right now, just because, again, teams are going to want to at least see and gauge, or you're just not going to really get real value. But let's say 10 games into the season, Jarred Vanderbilt comes back. Do you let him play? Hopefully, he stays healthy. And like a month in, December 15th, for example, do you look to trade him and get a piece you need, right? Like say a Valanciunas, right? Do you swap him for Valanciunas? Right? Because they both are making $10 million, so it'd be a clean swap. And any other scenario, and I want to make this clear, any other scenario, I would say you are out of your mind. You do not trade Jarred Vanderbilt, especially for Valanciunas. However, I don't know if Jarred Vanderbilt is going to be able to be healthy. He's already a guy that's dealt with injury issues since he basically came in the league. And it's starting to get looking like it's going to get worse. And if that foot injury becomes persistent, you're paying a guy $10 million a year for the next 3 years or whatever. That just is only going to get to play 30 games, 40 games a season. Yes, if he's healthy, you can kind of limit him because you only really need him on like assignment, right? You only need him to like, hey, plug him in, see Kyrie, shut him down for 10 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game, right? You don't necessarily have to play him 30 plus minutes, but even then it's just like, if you can get somebody that fills a need and then go make another trade. Here's the thing though, right? If the Lakers just were to swap, you know, Jarred Vanderbilt for Valanciunas, I'd be bothered. But if you were to do that and then go Rui, Gabe Vincent, and Cam Reddish to go get Jeremy Grant, now we're talking, right? Because now you basically replaced Jarred Vanderbilt and you got your backup center, and now all is right in the world, right? Like now you're back in position, right? But it's just, again, and Valanciunas is just an example of what's available, right? Obviously, I would love and prefer something better. I would actually love, like, you know, if we could turn Jarred Vanderbilt into Wendell Carter Jr. or turn him into like a Walker Kessler or something like that, you know, or add him to like the Jeremy Grant deal instead of, you know, say Gabe Vincent. So that way we don't have to fill the guard need, right? If you could do Rui and Jarred Vanderbilt, which the Lakers, based on reports, Portland wanted Rui and Vando for Jeremy Grant. Do you do that now? Right? Do you go and say, hey, we'll take Jeremy Grant and we'll give you Jarred Vanderbilt, right? Again, you probably have to wait for him to be healthy, but do you do that? And then that way you can keep Gabe Vincent. And I know a lot of people aren't super high on Gabe Vincent. I know a lot of people aren't like, you know, super thrilled on Gabe. But you wouldn't need to fill that hole now, because that's the problem is like if you go and you trade for a Jeremy Grant and you give up Gabe Vincent, well, now you need a backup point guard. Yeah, you could like slot LeBron, slot Reeves, but like it'd be nice to kind of have somebody that does what Gabe Vincent has as that point of attack defensive guard. Now, the Lakers did bring in Jordan Goodwin, so maybe you could just bring him in and slot him in, so it might not be a big issue. But I also don't hate the idea of Gabe Vincent, because if Gabe Vincent is healthy, which based on reports he is, and he's already working out, and he's already getting, you know, reps in and all that stuff, if he's healthy, I do think he has real value. He's excellent on the defensive side. I mean, even when he came back, terrible offensively for us, but you saw the defense. Defense was actually A1 in a lot of ways, right? And so, to me, it's like, if you can keep him, now you don't need to solve that need. You're replacing Jarred Vanderbilt essentially with Jeremy Grant or, you know, Cam Johnson or whomever. Right? It's just, I think you at least explore it. I wouldn't just trade Jarred Vanderbilt just to trade Jarred Vanderbilt, right? Like, I'm not just like, oh, let's give him away for a salary dump, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. But if you can get another need that you know is going to play and slot in, again, you know, we need a backup center desperately. If Valanciunas, you know, it can play, you know, 70 games a season, it's better than a guy that, you know, does he play more than 30? Right? Like, as great as Jarred Vanderbilt is, and as much as I don't want to trade him, I've talked repeatedly about, like, Jarred Vanderbilt's the one guy I do not want to get rid of. Right? Trade Austin Reeves, trade D'Angelo Russell, because we don't have that replacement. And if we trade Jarred Vanderbilt, again, we got to get somebody that can fill that role. Obviously, you're probably not getting anybody as great defensively, but if you can use Jarred Vanderbilt to get another piece elsewhere and then go pull off that, again, Jeremy Grant trade or that Cam Johnson trade or whatever, I just think that would be a better approach. Like, I think you're more open now than you were of trading Jarred Vanderbilt, right? Again, I hate to see him go, especially if he is healthy, right? Like, if he does figure it out, it's like, oh, man, like, you know, like, it's a gamble. But the problem is the Lakers really aren't in a position to gamble on a guy like Jarred Vanderbilt. Like, because I know, because let me clarify, because I know somebody's going to be like, well, you want Zach LaVine? Well, Zach LaVine also played 77 games and 67 games 2 years prior. Last year, he played 25 games, yes, but he was supposed to finish the season, which he would have played like 50, 55 games at that time, which still isn't great, but he sat out because he didn't want to go to Detroit. Big difference, right? He was supposed to be ready to go, and we still don't know if he actually had surgery or not, right? But neither here nor there, right? The reason I'm okay with somebody like a Zach LaVine as opposed to gambling on a Jarred Vanderbilt is because Zach LaVine is such a ceiling raiser. Like, Jarred Vanderbilt makes us better. Jarred Vanderbilt is, in my opinion, should be the 3 for the Lakers. But he also is a liability at times, and also at times gets played off the floor. And if your offense isn't cooking, you can't really, like, keep him out there, right? Like, it's just where Zach LaVine, even on a bad night, is still giving you 15 plus, right? Like, I think that the Lakers aren't really in a position to gamble, but I think if you are going to gamble, you gamble on the best, biggest upside. There we go. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. There we go. Like, that is what I mean by, like, you know, hey, like, if you're going to take a gamble, take the bigger. Would you rather take a gamble? Like, if I had to bet $100, right? chances are I'm losing that 100. If I'm going to bet that 100, am I going to bet that 100 to win 110? Right? My 100 back plus 10? Or am I going to bet that 100 to win 100 plus, another 100? Maybe even odds, or 100 plus 1,000, right? Like, you're going to go, if like I know chances are I'm going to lose, I might as well take the bigger gamble, right? I might as well take the gamble, because if Jarred Vanderbilt can't stay healthy and he's on multi-years, you're not going to really be able to move him without giving up assets. Like, no, if like Jarred Vanderbilt's playing 25 games a season, you're stuck with him. Now, you could argue better be stuck with a $10 million player than a $40 million player. But again, it's the upside. It's the potential. I'm not saying you have to trade Jarred Vanderbilt, but I do think it's something you explore a little more serious. Something at least you start having those conversations, right? Because the Lakers, they can't play around. We don't have the luxury of waiting, like letting Jarred Vanderbilt sit the year to kind of get his body right, get his foot right. If you need to have surgery, go have surgery. Whatever you need to do, take the year to go do so. We're just not in that position, right? But there are some teams that are. So maybe one of those teams would be willing to do that. Maybe one of those teams would be willing to take him. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think unfortunately, you got to start looking to trade Jarred Vanderbilt? Again, don't just trade him for nothing. But it's definitely something you got to at least look into and explore. Do you feel like if you trade him, like you have to go, then you have to go do the Jeremy Grant deal, or you have to go do the Cam Johnson deal or whatever, right? Or do you think no matter what, don't trade him. Even if he only plays 20 games a season, it's 20 games that, he's going to be great in. Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.